So hey guys, there are two different approaches to the save and load system. So the first one is the one at the left hand side of the screen here, and the second one is this one. Okay, so I'm going to be using the second one because I don't want to have multiple functions in my game or in my code, and that'll just scatter everything, which is not nice. So I'm going to ignore the first one and I'm going to use the second one for this tutorial. Okay, so let's go right into what we need to do. As you can see, I have a button here that says click me, and I have a text here that is 1. Actually, this will be 0, and when I click the button, it increases the number by 1. So as you can see here, we have a variable, and anytime we click the button, it's going to be increased by 1. We have another variable which is called the save path. Okay, so you have to make this variable for each thing you want to save. For example, you want to save some coins in your game, you want to save some cash, you want to save maybe you have diamonds, red diamonds, all those things. You don't you have to actually make variables for that. Okay, so it's just be like var red diamonds path, var green diamonds path, and all that stuff. So for now, I'm just using save path because I have only one variable. So how we're going to do this is we're going to start with the save function. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to create a file. So we're going to say var file equals to file dot new. So this is going to create the file, and the next thing we want to do is we want to open the file. So say file dot open, okay, and here we're going to pass in the path. So as you can see, we have a path here as a variable of this function. You just have to you don't actually need to, but I recommend you copy this out first so that you really know what's going on. So we have our content and we have the path. The content is actually the variable that's going to be saved, and the path is where we're going to save it. So in this case, we're going to put a string, and we're just going to say user, okay. So we're going to put two forward slashes in front, and why we're actually doing this is because if you go to projects, open project data folder, that's if you're using Godot 3.2.1 I guess or higher, you're gonna it's gonna open the project data folder, and as you can see now it's empty. So if you use user, anything that is going to be saved is going to be saved in that folder. It's not going to be saved in your res directory. So we're going to say open user forward slashes plus path. Okay, so this is going to be the path that we are going to open. Sorry, yeah, it's going to be this path, and we're going to set this whenever we're using this function. So now next thing we want to do is now we've opened the file. That's not all. We need to just say comma file read write, file write, and file write read. So the file read is going to read the file, and we're going to use that when we're loading it. The save needs the write, okay? So we're going to use file write. For read write and write read, I'm not going to be explaining in this tutorial, not like I can't, but I don't want to waste time, okay? So if you want to know about that, you can hold control on your keyboard, click on file, and scroll down a little bit. You're going to see many other functions that you can use, okay? You're going to see many functions there. So yeah, we're done with this. Next thing we want to do is we want to store the variable. So say file dot store var store underscore var. Actually, the reason why I'm using the store var function is because you can use the store string, here it is. You can use the store string, you can use other store functions, but why I'm using the store variable function is because it's, in my opinion, the strings, the integers, the every other thing are also variables. Okay, so this is actually best practice to use the store var because it's going to like store any type of variable. Since we have a number variable here, actually save and load functions can store arrays, dictionaries, literally everything that is known as a variable. Okay, so that's really cool. So in here, in this store var function, we're going to just pass in content. So this is the content that we're going to store, which is cool. Next thing we want to do is we're done, so we say file dot close. Now everything is okay. Now we go to the load function. It's literally going to be almost the same, but there's still going to be some changes. So what we want to do is we just want to copy these two lines of code so that I won't waste time, and hopefully I've explained it and you understand what they do. So we're going to change this right to read so we can actually read the variables out. Next thing we want to do is we want to store our present variable according to what the variable is inside here. So we're going to say content should be equal to file dot get underscore var. Okay, so now it says we should pass in an object. Okay, so it's actually a variant which allows objects and variables and everything, literally everything. So we want to get a variable. The variable we want to get is also content. Okay, that's cool because it's content that we actually saved and it's content that we want to get. It's not the way it looks actually, because you cannot find another variable in a file that is not together. So you actually need to get correct file and the correct variable. So we have this. Next thing is we want to say file dot close, and that should do it. Now we just want to make a ready function. So we say func underscore ready, and we want to say number equal to underscore load number and save. So we call this load function here, and we're going to equate it to number. So now the problem is if we run this right now, we don't have any file, and it's going to try to load a file, which is really wrong, and it throws an error. So even if we try to load this now, it's going to return a null. So but we want it to return the particular content. Okay, so it's a content. Sorry, content. So it's going to return this content, and it's going to put it in the number variable. So it's going to return content, put it in this variable, everything will be okay. So again, if we run this, since we don't have any other files, it's going to try to load an empty file, which will throw us an error. So what we want to do is we want to say if not file dot file underscore exists, okay, and here we're going to pass in the file. Okay, it's just literally going to be the same thing with this user plus path, all the things. So we just copy it and put it there. So if the file does not exist, as you can see, I use the not function in front of it. If it doesn't exist, then we want to return a 0. So this will be cool because we are going to return a 0, which will be number equal to 0. Everything will be okay. But if you want this value to change, you can also make another variable here. Sorry, var. You can just make another variable there and do all that stuff. But for this, I want to keep it simple, so I'm using this 0. So now we're going to try by hitting F5. Okay, so there's a problem, and okay, yeah, the problem is it's not meant to be underscore file, it's meant to be actually our normal local variable file here. Okay, see, just get rid of that file, our normal local variable file. Last thing we want to do is we want to save the file when we press the button. So we say underscore save, and we're going to put in the content, which is going to be number. Okay, and next thing is the path, which will be save path. Hit F5. We're going to try this out and see what it to give us. Yeah, we have 0, no errors. Click and no errors. We have about 7 now. Close it, hit F5 again, and yep, it continues from 7, and you can keep clicking, and you can keep doing this till eternity. But we won't do that obviously because we're not kids. Okay, so we have our file here, which is really cool, but if you try to edit this from here, you can't actually understand the language. You can, good for you, but right now I can't understand this. Okay, this is just weird, a bunch of zeros and stuff. So anyway, this is how to work on your save and load system. This is really cool. If you want any other added effects or added stuff, you can hold Control and click the file here to go to this directory, and yeah, you will be able to read out some stuff. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you want more content like this, smash subscribe to this channel, and do want to follow me on Twitter so that you can get updated most of the time. If you have any questions, also go to my Discord. Everything will be okay, and see you guys next time.